So today we're going to be using our History of the Alphabet book, and we're going to learn about the letter D and kind of how it started. So scientists have fairly certain that the letter D is a Phoenician letter that is meaning door, when they are not sure about where this letter came from and why it looks a little like a door. So maybe that's why they thought back in the day it looked like a door, and that's why they named it that. And that might even be why it looks kind of like that. Some people feel that the Phoenician character looks like a curved panel on a wooden door, and other people think that it represents kind of a flap of a tent. Another idea is that the shape of this letter came from a different letter called dag, which may have meant a kind of fish. Maybe the theory goes that Phoenician letters is just the head of the older fish. After almost 4,000 years, it's hard to tell. So we have all these different types of letter D. So we have the Phoenician letter D, used to look like that. We have the early Greek letter, kind of looks like ours, but it's flipped around. We have the classical Greek letter, which is more like a triangle. And then we have the Roman letter D. Now, whether it came from originally, the Greeks turned the Phoenician door into a near triangle, and they called it delta, which we use that word to mean a triangular piece of land formed between the mouth of a river. So in a sense, delta is kind of like the doorway to a river. So they're kind of trying to connect those ideas. Now I know my ABCs. The Romans were the first people to name their letters by the sound they represent, like we do, like A, B, C. The Greeks, on the other hand, they use actual names for these letters, such as alpha, beta, gamma. So very interesting that it used to be so different. Now, just to practice on this a little bit, so which of these historic letter Ds do you think looks most like the one that we know, the one that we use? Yeah, so this Roman one down at the bottom looks a lot like our letter D. All right, so just to close this out, what letter did we learn about?
D.
D. And then do you know what word they used to think it represented? Like what they thought it used to kind of look like? Yeah, so the early Greek people used it. So they said that the letter D kind of resembled a door. So because it looked a little bit like a door, that kind of helped us shape this letter in this way. Very good. All right, so that's our history of language. So now we're going to move on to our alphabet. So we're going to start with some of our chants and questions over here. So we'll start with, my left hand is my beforehand. My right hand is my afterhand. The initial letter of the alphabet is
A.
The final letter of the alphabet is the exact middle letters of the alphabet are
M and N.
Yep. All of our medial letters are
B through Y.
yeah, B through Y. What are our vowels?
A, E, I, O, U.
Good. And that means that consonants are everything else. How many letters are in the alphabet?
26.
26. And then how many sounds do those letters make?
44.
Yeah, 44 different sounds. Isn't that crazy? And you're learning all of them in here with us. Alrighty, so to go into our alphabet. So we're going to use our alphabet strip. And we're gonna first have our beforehand on A, our initial letter. And then afterhand on N, one of our medial letters. So right now what we're going to do is point to each letter on the alphabet strip, and we're going to name them in order. All right? So ready? Starting with our initial letter.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Good. All right, so the initial letter of the alphabet is
A.
A. The final letter of the alphabet is
Z.
Z. The two middle letters of the alphabet are
M and N.
good, M and N. So what we're going to do now using our letters, So first we're going to turn all of our letters face up. That way we can make sure we can see them all. All right, awesome. So what I want you to do is I want you to find the initial letter of the alphabet and place it in your bottom left corner. So just like I did on the board. Perfect. All right, so now find the final letter, Z, name it, and then place it in your lower right-hand corner. Good. And then find your two exact middle letters, and I want you to label them or put them at the top. So name them M, N when you place them.
M, N.
Good. Alrighty. So when we finish, our letters should look like this, like I have on the board. So our initial, medial, and final forming our arc. So what I want you to do now is find the letter B and place it after our letter A. Make sure you name it. Good. And now you're just going to keep going all the way through until your arc is complete. It's a little tricky because we're not using our mat today. Like how we're naming them before we place them. Awesome. All right, so on using the arc that you made, so let's touch and name one more time.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Awesome. All right, so you can put our letters away. Because now we are moving down on our schedule to our decks. Alrighty, so we're going to start with our advanced reading deck. I'm gonna move this just a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're gonna start with our advanced reading deck. So you're going to name the letter, okay?
I, N, S, F, P, L, T, D, A, D.
Good. Alrighty. So now we're gonna move on to our keyword and sound deck. So on this deck, you're gonna name the keyword and the sound. Ready?
Pig, pipe.
So remember, unvoiced.
Pig, Boot. Socks. Nose. Dog. Nest. Fish. Igloo.
Good. If. Good job. All right, so now moving on to our spelling deck. So you're going to go up to the board. You're going to use your marker and eraser. So you're going to make your 3 arrows, and then make sure that that eraser is in your non-writing hand. Yep, and then you can just hold that eraser right behind you. Good. So then that eraser, you can just hold it behind you, just so that way you were ready to erase, right? So with these cards, so you're going to echo the sound, name, and write. Okay? All right, so ready? So looking at me. Good. All right, next one.
N.
Okay, next one. Look at me.
F.
Good. All right, so with the other hand, we can erase. Ready?
T. P.
Good. A.
A.
D.
D.
One more time. D.
D.
Okay, next one. Just look at me. Z.
S.
Yeah, good. Good. All right, then with the other hand, we can erase. Alrighty, ready? I.
I.
And then last one. Ready? Old.
L.
Good job. Alrighty, so we can erase, and then you can come sit back down. Alrighty. So now that we're done with our decks, we're going to be moving on to our new learning. So, looking here at our new learning, so let's make sure we're in our nice listening learning position, so we're nice and ready to go. Move this a little bit that way. All right. So, this is sound discovery time. So we're going to watch my mouth as I say the word, and you're going to repeat or echo the word after me. So make sure you're watching your mouth in the mirror, and then listen to the sound in the initial position. And then raise your hand when you think you know what sound we're learning today, okay? Had. Hop.
Hop.
Hill.
Hill.
Hut.
Hut.
What do you think?
H.
So that's a letter. What sound do we think we hear? Right. So that's the sound that we heard in the initial position. What is happening to my mouth when I make that sound? So when I go, what is happening?
Oh, it's like opening your mouth.
Yeah, so my mouth is open. So now let's put our fingertips on our vocal cords. So I want you to make this sound. Is it voiced or unvoiced?
Unvoiced.
Unvoiced, right. So we have learned that vowel sounds are open and voiced. So this sound is open, but it's unvoiced. Can it be a vowel? No, right? Because vowels are open and voiced. This one we just said is unvoiced. So this is an unusual letter we're learning because it's not blocked, it's open, but it's the only consonant sound that is not blocked by anything. So this is the only pronunciation for that single letter H. So today we are learning the name of the letter that stands for this sound is H. Good. So we're going to do our riddle. So I am made up of many different things. I come in large and small sizes. I am a place where people can live. I am a house. So keyword and sound are house. Good. So let's say the key word again. So in our mirror, let's say the key word again. And can we feel the sound in the key word? House.
House.
So can we feel it if I go house?
House.
Yeah, so we can kind of feel. So tell me again what's happening to our mouth when we make that sound.
It's open.
Yeah, it's open. So it's not blocked by anything. So since the new grapheme is unvoiced, that means it is a consonant. Now we've learned that every letter in the alphabet has 4 properties. It has a name, a shape, a feel, and a sound. The name of the letter does not change, but we know these letters can have different shapes. So if we look at our alphabet wall card here, it says that the upper and lowercase printed H's, so if we can tell they're different shapes. So printed letters are for reading, and then we have cursive letters here are for writing. All right, so let's move on. So I'm going to show you, so placing a directional arrow here, and we have our printed letter H. So if I review some of the strokes that we already know, we have learned swing up, stop, push up and over, curve under, over, stop, and our new one, curve way up, loop left. Which of those approach strokes do you think we need to get from our arrow up to our top of the letter?
Left.
Yeah, we're going to use curve way up, loop left. So let's see, making our letter, if we can cover it up. So naming my letter first, H. Curve way up, loop left, pull straight down, push up, over, down, release. So did we cover our letter H?
Yes.
Yeah, we covered it pretty good. Alrighty, so I'm going to erase that and I'm going to make a nice big model on the board. Name my letter H. Curve way up, loop up, pull straight down, push up, over, down, release. Alrighty, so I'm going to demonstrate skywriting facing the board and then we're going to practice, alright? So we can stand up. Alright, so facing our model. So we're going to have our hands nice and over. And then we're going to say our letter. Watch me model first. H. Curve way up, loop left, pull straight down, push up, over, down, release. Alright, so we're going to do it 3 times, okay? Alright, name our letter. H. Good, let's do it again. Name our letter. H. Curve way up, left, straight down, push up, over, down, release. And one more time. H. Good. Alrighty, so you can come sit back down. So on our linkage paper, first I'm going to need you to name and finger trace our letter 2 times.
H. H.
Good. So now with your pencil, you're going to name and trace your letter 2 times. Good. Next box is going to be writing it with your model, so you can use that model to help name your letter and write. Very good. Boxes 3 and 4 are going to be naming without our model, so I'm going to cover our model up on your paper. And you're going to say your letter name and write.
H.
Make sure we nice and check our wow. Good writing position. Good. So you can flip it over because boxes 5 and 6 are going to be with our eyes closed. So first find your arrow, close your eyes, name and write.
H.
Good. Next one.
H.
Very good. Alrighty, so the name of the grapheme we are learning is
H.
H. So this time we're going to start with our muscles nice and tense. So you're going to watch while I demonstrate. And this time we're going to do one time eyes open, one time eyes closed. Ready? All right, so watch me first. I'm going to name my letter H. Curve way up, loop up, pull straight down, push up, over, down, release. All right, ready? So we're going to one time eyes open, one time eyes closed. Muscles nice and tense. H.
H.
Good. All right, one time eyes closed. Ready? Name your letter. Good. Good job. All right, so you can sit back down. All right, so we're going to check our wow, and then using our best handwriting in box number 7, you're going to name and write. So I'm going to name the letter, and then you're going to name and write. Ready? H.
H.
Good. Alrighty, so this is our keyword and sound card, house. So we're going to be skywriting with our keyword and sound card. So this time we're just going to do it one time eyes open, okay? All right, so let's stand up, and then you'll watch me while I demonstrate first. All right, so I'm going to have my muscles nice and tense still, and I'm going to name my keyword and sound. This is the only time our mouth is moving at the same time as our hand. House. All right, so ready? We're just going to do one time eyes open, right?
House.
Very, very nice. All right, you can come on and sit down. All right, so this time I am going to name the letter, and you are going to say the key word and sound, okay? And we'll do that 3 times. Ready? H.
H.
So I'll say the letter. You just have to do keyword, sound, okay? H.
House.
H.
House.
H.
House.
Perfect. So now this is oral spelling. So I'm going to say the name of the sound, and you're going to say the key word and our letter name, okay?
House. H.
Good.
House. H. House. H.
Perfect. Alrighty, so now make sure we check our wow because this is going to be written spelling. So this is where we practice our spelling deck response to our new learning. So I'm going to say the sound. You're going to echo the sound, name the letter, and write. Okay? So check our wow. Have our pencil ready to go. Ready?
House.
So for this one, it's just like our normal spelling response. So you'll just echo the sound, name the letter, and write it, okay?
H.
So I'll say the sound. So you just copy, echo me, and then name your letter. H. All right, so let's try it one more time, the whole thing.
H.
Good. There you go. Awesome. Alrighty. So that was our linkage paper. Now remember that this is the only regular pronunciation for the single letter H. It's pronounced mainly in its initial position in those English base words. All right, so let's move on to a little bit of application for the new learning. So I'm going to write some words on the board. H, I, D. H, I, T. H, A, D. So, if I look at this word here, is this word open or closed? Closed, right? I have a vowel or consonant closing it. So it's closed. Is it going to be accented? Yes. All one syllable words are accented. So does that mean my vowel is short or long?
Long.
So if I look and our vowel is closed, would our vowel be short or long?
Long.
So here, let's do some more coding on the board. So vowel in a closed syllable is short, code it with the brief. Vowel in an open accented syllable is long, code it with the macron. So you said before this word is closed. So would our vowel be short or long?
Short.
Short. So would that be a macron or a breathe?
Breathe.
A breathe. So then let's read it. What is our word?
Hid.
Good, hid. Awesome. All right, let's do our next one. So is this word here open or closed?
Close.
Closed. Is it accented?
Yes.
Yes. So is our vowel short or long?
Short.
Short. So would it get a macron or a breathe?
Breathe.
Breathe. Good. What is our word?
Hit.
Hit. Good. All right, let's do this one here. Is this word open or closed?
Had. Close.
Okay, closed, because we're looking at that consonant d, and d is closed. So is it accented?
Yes.
Yes. So is our vowel short or long?
Short.
Short. So macron or breathe?
Breathe.
Breathe. So what would this word say?
Had.
Had. Good. All right, let's do one more. So is this word open or closed?
Hip. Close.
Good. So p is closed. Is it accented?
Yes.
Yes. Is our vowel short or long?
Short.
Short. So would it get a macron or a breathe?
Breathe.
Breathe. So what does this word say?
Hip.
Hip. Good. Alrighty. So to close out our new learning before we go to reading practice, so remember that we learned the new grapheme H, and we learned our new keyword and sound.
House.
Good. All right, so that concludes our letter introduction, which means we get to move on to reading practice. Woo! I love reading practice. Alrighty. So, looking at our reading practice, so first we're going to review some of the coding that we know. So first, we've learned that a vowel in a closed syllable is short, coded with the brief. So we know vowel plus syllable short, coded with the brief. We also know vowel in an open accented syllable is long, coded with a macron. We also know that if two consonants are the same, we can cross one of them out because they make the same sound. We also have learned suffix s. So when we have suffix s on a word, that just means more than
one.
Yeah, more than one. Good. And then finally, we have learned voice s. So whenever s comes after a voiced letter, like in is or in pans, then it is a voiced s. So those are the codings that we know. And our procedures when we're looking at reading words is just like we did in our application. We check if the word is open or closed, if it's accented, is the vowel short or long, or does it get a bereave or a macron, and then we can read the word. So on our paper here, we're going to do row number 4 together, and then you're going to be coding rows 1 to 3 by yourself, and then we'll practice some sentences, all right? So let's look at row number 4. H, A, S, P. So if I was going to code this word, where is our vowel? A. So looking at that, is this word open or closed? Closed. Is it accented?
Yes.
Yes. So is my vowel short or long?
Short.
Short. So since our vowel is short, do we code it with a breve or a macron?
Breathe.
A breve. So what does this word say?
Hasp.
Good. Asp. Asp. All right, next one in row 4. H, A, S. So is this word open or closed?
Close.
Closed. Is it accented?
Yes.
Yes. So is our vowel short or long?
Short.
Short. So does it get a breve or a macron?
Breathe.
A breve. So what does this word say?
Has.
Good. And we have ah. So if I check if that's voiced or unvoiced, ah.
This voice.
Voice, which means what?
Max.
So if we have a vowel that's voiced or a letter that's voiced, my S is going to be voiced also. So we can give it a voice line. Has. Good. And let's do the last one in that row together. So H, A, N, D. So is this vowel word open or closed?
Close.
Closed. Is it accented?
Yes.
Yes. Is my vowel short or long?
Short.
Yeah. So would it be macron or a breve?
Breathe.
A breve. So what does this say?
Hammed.
So here, why don't we name each letter?
Hamd.
So why don't you look on your paper and check, name those letters.
Hand. Hand.
Good, hand, because N is All right, so take some time and you're gonna code rows 1, 2, and 3. And then when we get to those sentences, we'll read them.
Hit.
Good.
Had. Hid.
Alrighty. So first with these sentences, let's try to code some of the words in there, and then we'll try to put them all together. So let's try it.
Dan had a pan.
Good. Alright, and then let's try number 6. It's a little bit longer, so look at it and code first. Alrighty.
It is a tan pan. It had a lid.
Good. A tan. Pan, I don't have one of those. Alrighty, good. So we can move that to the side because it is time for some handwriting practice. So today what we're going to be practicing with handwriting is we're going to be practicing naming our letter before we write it. So we always want to make sure we name it before we write it because that's letting our brain know what letter it needs us to put on the paper, right? So we'll go over our approach strokes again for our handwriting practice. So we have swing up, stop. We have push up and over. We have curve under, over, stop. And curve way up, loop left. And we're going to be practicing with our letter H. So which of these approach strokes do we need for H? Yeah, curve way up, loop left, exactly, the one we were just practicing. So what we're going to do is I'll model first. So on your paper where you have your numbers, you're going to be naming your letter before we write because that's what we're practicing. So I'm going to first place an arrow so that I know where to start. I'm going to name my letter H. And then write H. Okay, make sure we check our wow and good writing position. All right, let's try it again. Practice naming before we write. H. Good, I like how you corrected. H. Very nice job. So when you were doing that page, were you naming all of the letters before you wrote? Yeah. So let's circle which one you think is the best one that you made. I think that's a good one. Very nice. Alrighty, just like that, we're moving right on to spelling practice. So for spelling practice today we are going to be spelling words with the H sound. So how is the sound spelled? What letter stands for that sound? H. So most frequently occurs in the initial position. Sometimes it's in the medial position. Can you think of any words where is in the final position at the very end of a word? It's okay if you can't. Okay, I'm going to stop you. I can't take it. It's a trick question because the sound only happens in the initial and the medial position. Wasn't that mean? The answer was no because there are no words. So in the initial and medial position, that is how in English we hear the sound. So it is initial and medial in our base words. So we are using for spelling initial, medial, is spelled H. And remember, English base words do not end in the sound. All right, so I'm going to give you your mirror back to help us with spelling, and you can flip right to the back of your handwriting page. Very good. All right, we're going to go over our spelling procedures. So every time we spell, remember, first I'll say a word. You will look and listen. We will echo and unblend. We will spell out loud, name and write, code and read, okay? And we are spelling with initial, medial, is spelled H. All right, so your first word, ready? And I want you to hear you doing all of our steps. Hat. So first we echo. echo and blem. So
At H-A-T.
Alright, so you can write. Number 2, has.
Has. H-A-S.
Next one, hip.
Hip. H-A-P.
So I'm going to say it one more time. Ready? Hip. Good. And then code and read. Good. Okay, last one. Hint.
Hint.
Good. Alrighty. So to close out our spelling practice, so we have just practiced spelling words with initial medial is spelled H. Very good. Alright, moving on, we're going to do some verbal expression. And we're going to do something really fun. Alrighty. So, for verbal expression today, we're going to be working on something that is really, really important for us when we're not just in this room, but when you're in other classrooms too. We're going to practice asking for help when we need it. Because I think sometimes we need help, but maybe we're too nervous to ask, or maybe our teacher seems too busy so we don't want to ask, or maybe we don't know how to ask for help. So that's what we're really going to practice on today, so that when you go back into your classrooms, you can use this and then get the help that you need, right? So when we are needing help, there's a couple of questions, things that we need to think about first. So I need to think about, what do I need help with? Before I ask, I should know what I need help with, right? Is it reading? Is it writing? Is it math? So whatever I need help with, I need to think about that first. Another thing I should think about before I ask my teacher is, what will help me? If I need help in reading, what do I need that's going to help? If I need help in writing and math, what do I need? Do I just need more time to finish it? Maybe the teacher is saying, okay, finish up, and maybe I'm just not ready yet. Do I need more time? Or do I need a little more help? Do I need my computer to help me with a little bit of the reading? Or to help me with my writing or spelling even? So when I need help, before I just raise my hand, right, I want to think about, what do I need help with? Now, if you need help, let's say you just want more time, maybe you're doing it, you feel good, but you just don't have enough time. This is a way you can ask if you need more time. So if I need more time, I'd raise my hand, my teacher would come up to me and, say what's going on, and I could ask, can I please have a little more time to finish my work? Because that tells my teacher exactly what I need. My teacher knows now that I just need a little bit more time. Maybe right now I can do it, or maybe when we come back from lunch and recess, if there's a little extra time, maybe I can get it done. So that's a really nice way to let your teacher know what you need help with. Because if all we need is extra time, we don't need her to do anything for us or to give us a partner for a friend. All we need is just more time. So this is a good way to ask for that. Now, let's say we need a little bit more help. Maybe more time isn't enough. If she tells you what to do and you're just a little bit confused, a great thing that you can use to help you is a computer. So you have your computer, you have your headphones, and we can use that to help us read things. We can use that to help us with writing. We can use it to type. And we can even use it to help us with spelling if we need a help with a word. So if you're doing an assignment on paper and you just need help, if you want to use your Chromebook, a way that you can ask is you can say, raise your hand. Can I please use my computer to help me complete my work? Now, if your teacher asks you for more, you could say, well, it will help me read, or it can help me write, or it can help me spell. So if you need your computer, this is a really good way to ask, because that tells your teacher exactly what you need help with. And then you don't have to waste any time. They'll say, yes, you can get your Chromebook and you can just start working, right? And you don't have to waste any more time. So what I want to do is I just want to practice. So if you think about when you're in your other classes, what is something that you normally need help with?
The work.
Yeah, okay, so maybe we need help with the work. So I wouldn't ask for more time, because if I need help with just what to do, more time isn't going to help me know what to do. So for that, I would need a little more help. So I would need this one here. So can I please use my computer to help me complete my work? So what I want to do is we'll just pretend. So I'm going to have you raise your hand. I'm going to say, yes, what do you need help with? And I want you to use our new phrase that we learned, okay? All right, so ready? You can raise your hand. Oh, yes, what do you need?
Can I please use my computer to help me complete my homework?
Oh, of course you can. Yep, they're right over there and they're charging. See? So what we can do is if you ever need help, just to close this out, we're practicing asking for help when we need it. Because sometimes we can just do something by ourselves. But sometimes we need a little bit of extra help. So these are different ways you can ask, you can express that you need help. And also I want you to let you know that you should never feel bad about asking for help, okay? Because I know sometimes we don't raise our hand because we're nervous or we're scared or maybe other people don't need help. It doesn't matter. It's just about you. So if you need help, I always want you to be able to ask for it, okay? So using some of these phrases can help us. Really nice job with that. Alrighty, so now we are moving on to our review. So to review some of the things that we have learned today, we have learned that our new grapheme is H. Our new keyword and sound are
House.
good. And we learned that our spelling for this new sound, so we learned that initial medial is spelled H. In handwriting, we did so many things today. In handwriting, we practice naming our letter before we write it to make sure our brain always knows what we're doing. And something exciting, this first kit is almost done, which means I wanted to just go through some concept cards just to help us remember what they are. So some of our coding cards, because we'll need this right when we finish this kit. So the first concept review card I wanted to look at. So this one here, it's a piece of coding that we've learned. And this one is meaning that a vowel in an open accented syllable is long. I code it with the macron. So this is one of our codings that we use. And then another coding that we see a lot and we use, this one here. So a vowel in a closed accented syllable is short. Code it with the breve. Yep. So these two pieces of coding are really important. We see them all the time. So I just wanted to make sure we reviewed all of those different things that we did today. Awesome. All right, so now we're going to move on to our listening section. So we're going to be looking at this book. So it is Night of the Veggie Monster. My goodness. So we're going to read some of this book, and then I'm just going to ask you a question or two, okay? Let's see. So, Night at the Veggie Monster. Something terrible happens every Tuesday night. It's not the pork chops or the mashed potatoes. It all starts when I'm forced to eat peas. A whole 3 tonight. My parents act as if I'm making it all up, but I'm not. I wonder how soon before he starts. Oh, it shouldn't be any minute now. I have no idea what one tiny little pea does to me. With just the slightest touch, it begins, and we're off. My fingers become all wiggly. Oh, I knew he would start with the fingers. As the pea rests in my mouth, my eyes begin to water. My toes twist and curl in my shoes. I squirm in my seat. I try to keep control, but the pea is too strong. I start to transform into a veggie monster, ready to smash the chairs, ready to tip the table, ready to gulp. I swallowed the pea. I actually swallowed it. It tasted all right, really. Quite a performance this evening. I particularly enjoyed the toe curling. Well, I guess peas are okay, but there is still a danger. Because tomorrow is Wednesday, and on Wednesday we have broccoli. Here we go again. So in this story, Night of the Veggie Monster, what was the boy's problem? What was happening?
He think that in the danger.
Right, so he thinks that they're in danger. And what was the thing that was causing all of the danger?
A veggie monster?
Yeah, he became a veggie monster. Why did he become the veggie monster?
Because he ate it.
Right, and does he like vegetables, you think? No, it doesn't seem like it. So, what about you? Do you like eating vegetables? Yeah, what's your favorite one?
Broccoli.
I love broccoli and I love peas too. Alrighty.